How to improve your fluency. Anya woke with a familiar knot of dread twisting in her stomach. Her daily day's struggle with English loomed large, a persistent shadow over her morning. The textbooks piled high, mocking her slow progress, each page a testament to her perceived inadequacy. She yearned for fluency, yet the path felt impossibly steep, almost vertical. How to talk at home to yourself, she'd whisper, standing before her bathroom mirror. These solo practice sessions were meant to build confidence in speaking, but often dissolved into frustrated sighs. She'd rehearse imagined conversations, only to feel the words crumble the moment she truly needed them. The solitude amplified her self-doubt. The thought of engaging with real people, of navigating a spontaneous dialogue, sent shivers down her spine. Her mind became a tangled maze of grammar rules and forgotten vocabulary. It felt like her tongue was permanently tied, refusing to articulate the thoughts swirling frantically within her head, causing immense frustration. She often scrolled through online forums, seeking answers, searching for that elusive magic trick. How to improve your fluency? She typed repeatedly into search bars. The advice seemed endless, yet none truly resonated with her unique, deeply personal battle against linguistic paralysis. It was disheartening. There were moments of profound despair, questioning the entire endeavor. A cynical voice, loud and clear, sometimes echoed, "Why you should not learn English." It felt like an endless, unrewarding uphill climb, draining her energy with minimal apparent gain. Perhaps it simply wasn't meant to be for her. This negative self-talk became a familiar companion, whispering doubts into her ear. English felt less like a bridge to new worlds and more like an impenetrable wall. Every attempt to talk in English felt like a performance under harsh scrutiny, even when she was alone in her room. Her daily routine was punctuated by these silent battles, tiny skirmishes against a language that seemed determined to evade her grasp. Even simple tasks became complicated by the underlying tension of unspoken English words. It was exhausting, mentally draining, leaving her feeling utterly defeated often. She observed how people speak English so effortlessly around her, in movies, on the street, and in cafes. Their words flowed like a smooth river, while hers felt like jagged rocks tumbling down a steep incline. The contrast was stark, fueling her sense of inadequacy even further. One rainy afternoon, browsing a dusty secondhand bookstore, she stumbled upon a slim volume. It wasn't a grammar guide or a vocabulary list. Its title was simple yet intriguing: Learn English Through Stories. She was skeptical, yet a tiny spark of curiosity ignited within her. She bought the book, a cheap, worn copy, more out of desperation than conviction. That evening, curled up in her favorite armchair, she began to read. The stories were simple, engaging narratives, far removed from the dry, academic texts she was accustomed to. It was a new way of learning English. As she immersed herself in the adventures of fictional characters, something unexpected began to shift. The words weren't isolated entities. They were part of a living, breathing context. Her brain, previously resistant, started absorbing phrases and structures almost unconsciously. It felt different, lighter somehow. This discovery introduced her to a different philosophy, a new way of learning English that felt organic and natural. It wasn't about memorization. It was about immersion. She started seeking out more stories, audiobooks, and even short podcasts, letting the language wash over her. The more she listened and read, the more she noticed patterns. How people speak English became less about individual words and more about rhythm, intonation, and natural expressions. She began to internalize these nuances, something endless drills had never achieved for her. Her solo practice sessions at home also transformed. Instead of reciting isolated sentences, she started retelling the stories she'd read. How to talk at home to yourself became an act of creative reconstruction, building narratives with the vocabulary and grammar she was absorbing. This newfound engagement felt less like a chore and more like an enjoyable pastime. The pressure to be perfect gradually lessened. She was no longer just learning a language. She was experiencing it, living through the tales and their characters. This was truly revolutionary. One day, an online language exchange group popped up in her social media feed. The idea of how to talk to people in pairs had always filled her with dread. But now, armed with her stories and a budding sense of confidence, she felt a tentative urge to try. She found a language partner, a kind woman named Leo from Canada, who was learning her native tongue. Their first conversation was understandably awkward, punctuated by pauses and mutual apologies. Yet, the fear was less paralyzing than before, a significant step forward. Leo suggested they share stories, taking turns to describe their day or a favorite book. This natural context made talking much easier. How to improve your fluency became a collaborative effort, a shared journey of understanding and expression rather than a solitary struggle. They spoke regularly, twice a week, each session building on the last. Anya noticed her hesitation diminishing, replaced by a growing ease. The words, once elusive, now found their way to her tongue with surprising speed. It was an incredible feeling of progress. How to make confidence in speaking, she realized, was a process, not a destination. It wasn't about eradicating mistakes, but about accepting them as part of the learning curve. Each small victory, each successful exchange, bolstered her belief in her own abilities. Her daily day's struggle began to recede, replaced by moments of genuine connection. The English language was no longer an adversary, but a tool, a means to share thoughts and experiences with others. It felt liberating, a true breaking of barriers she had long felt. She started noticing the subtle ways how people speak English in real-life situations. The natural rhythms of conversation, the pauses, the filler words, all became part of her understanding. She wasn't just learning words, she was learning communication. The question, why you should not learn English, now seemed absurd, a relic of her former, frustrated self. The joys of understanding a new culture, of connecting with people across borders, far outweighed any initial difficulties or perceived impossibilities. Her ability to talk in English improved dramatically. She found herself expressing complex ideas, not just simple sentences. The fear of making mistakes lessened significantly, allowing her to take more risks and experiment with new vocabulary and structures naturally. She continued to immerse herself in stories, both reading and listening, finding them an inexhaustible wellspring of natural language. Every new tale added layers to her understanding, making her comprehension deeper and her expression richer than before. The way of learning English that suited her best was not rigid adherence to rules, but flexible engagement with authentic content. This realization was pivotal, shifting her perspective from a student trying to pass a test to a curious explorer of a new linguistic world. Practicing how to talk at home to yourself became an enjoyable ritual, a time for creative expression rather than critical self-judgment. She'd narrate her day, describe her plans, and even argue different viewpoints, all in her improving English. The comfort of how to talk to people in pairs transformed her social interactions. She joined online discussion groups, where she could apply her growing skills in a supportive environment. Each conversation was a new opportunity for growth. Her journey proved that how to improve your fluency wasn't about speed, but about seamlessness. It was about thinking in English rather than translating from her native tongue. This internal shift was perhaps the most profound of all her progress. How to make confidence in speaking was no longer a mystery. It stemmed from persistent, enjoyable practice and a willingness to step outside her comfort zone, even when it felt daunting. The small victories accumulated into a strong sense of self-assurance. She realized that understanding how people speak English involved more than just words. It encompassed body language, tone, and cultural nuances. This holistic approach made her communication richer and more effective, fostering genuine connections. The daily struggle had become a distant memory, replaced by the exciting challenge of continuous learning and growth. Each day brought new opportunities to use English, to connect, and to expand her understanding of the world around her. The initial despair that whispered, "Why you should not learn English," had been completely silenced. In its place was a quiet determination, a joyful pursuit of linguistic mastery that felt deeply fulfilling and incredibly empowering in her life. Her ability to talk in English felt natural, almost instinctive. She no longer had to painstakingly construct sentences. They flowed freely, a testament to months of dedication and a changed mindset about language acquisition. It was truly remarkable. The power of learn English through stories continued to amaze her. She explored different genres, from fantasy novels to historical accounts, each offering a unique vocabulary and grammatical structure embedded within a captivating narrative. This way of learning English made the process feel less like studying and more like an adventure. Her mind was constantly engaged, curious to discover what happened next, absorbing the language without the usual accompanying stress or anxiety she used to feel. Her solo practice sessions, how to talk at home to yourself, evolved into sophisticated self-dialogues. She'd debate topics, summarize articles, and even practice presentations, honing her expressive abilities in a safe, judgment-free environment. The communal aspect of how to talk to people in pairs became invaluable. She formed strong bonds with fellow learners and native speakers, discovering new perspectives and expanding her understanding of different cultures through direct interaction. Her fluency continued to blossom. How to improve your fluency wasn't about reaching an end point, but about continuous refinement, about finding new ways to express herself with greater precision and natural ease in various situations. How to make confidence in speaking became a lesson she could teach others. She understood that true confidence wasn't about never making a mistake, but about having the resilience to keep trying, even after encountering moments of difficulty. She observed how people speak English not just for language learning, but for communication insights. She learned about active listening, turn-taking, and the subtle cues that define effective conversation, greatly enhancing her overall social skills. The memory of her daily struggles served as a powerful reminder of how far she had come. It underscored the importance of perseverance and finding methods that truly resonated with her learning style and personal objectives. The siren song of Why You Should Not Learn English was now just a faint, ridiculous echo. She found immense joy in her newfound linguistic abilities, appreciating the doors it opened to new friendships, knowledge, and diverse cultural experiences. Her conversations flowed naturally. How to talk in English was no longer a forced academic exercise, but a genuine means of connection and expression, a testament to her transformation from a hesitant learner to a confident communicator. She started sharing her story, inspiring others who faced similar struggles. She emphasized the power of learn English through stories, encouraging them to find joy in the process, rather than dread in the grammatical complexities. Her experience highlighted that there wasn't one single way of learning English. It was a highly personal journey, requiring self-reflection and a willingness to experiment with different approaches until something clicked effectively. How to talk at home to yourself remained a cornerstone of her practice, allowing her to experiment without fear. It was her personal laboratory, where she could test out new phrases and refine her thoughts before public use. The paired conversations, how to talk to people in pairs, became a source of genuine friendship and mutual support. These interactions provided the real-world application that transformed theoretical knowledge into practical, usable skills. Her journey in how to improve your fluency was a testament to the power of consistent, enjoyable practice. It wasn't about cramming, but about integrating English into her daily life in meaningful and sustainable ways. How to make confidence in speaking was achieved by embracing imperfection. She learned that every mistake was a learning opportunity, a stepping stone towards greater clarity and more authentic self-expression in any situation. Understanding how people speak English in natural contexts profoundly impacted her own style. She moved beyond rigid textbook English, developing a more fluid, idiomatic, and culturally appropriate way of communicating her thoughts. Her triumph over her daily struggle was not just about speaking English. It was about overcoming self-doubt and unlocking her potential. It was a journey of personal growth, far beyond mere linguistic acquisition. The initial doubt of why you should not learn English had evolved into a fervent belief in the transformative power of language learning. She became an advocate for finding joy in the process, not just focusing on the outcome. She had finally mastered how to talk in English with ease and grace. Her voice carried conviction, her ideas flowed seamlessly, and her interactions were rich with genuine connection, a true testament to her incredible journey. Anya, once timid, now spoke with a vibrant confidence, her English a testament to patience, innovative methods, and the profound belief that every struggle holds the seed of success. Her story inspired countless others,